All right, all right, all right. Oh, how we doing, everybody? Right. All right, let's see. Oh, how we doing, everybody? Get an echo. There we go. Yeah. Um, just chilling here. Just gonna do a short stream today. Um, you know, got some things I want to talk about. Got some things that got to get off my mind and stuff. And there's lots of stuff going on. I do work tonight though, so we have to make this a short one. I did have to go pick up my kid, which there was a death in the family on their mom and stepdad's side, so I am watching them for the time being. We're waiting on food from Uber Eats right now. So that's cool. Let's see here. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're having a good day. Oh, let's see here. There it is. Okay, I gotta keep this up just to make sure that make sure the food's on its way here. Yeah, got lots to talk about today. Hold on just one second, guys. All right. So, some stuff to talk about today for sure. We've got Russia and Ukraine stuff we're going to talk about again. So that's fun. We've got a couple videos we're going to do some reactions on. Wanted to go over Joe Rogan's explanation and apology that he did for I think it was TikTok, but he did it for Spotify. Just on there. On the table's fine. And then so I wanted to go over that because I don't know, he redeemed himself a little bit on that. I also wanted to talk about Ben Shapiro indoctrinating some kids. So that's fun. It's kind of the pot calling the kettle black. He's always talking about how the left is trying to indoctrinate our children, but then he goes to schools and talks to them directly. So that's awesome. So we'll talk about that. Wanted to talk about the Nazi rally that made the news in Florida. We're gonna go through some TikToks. It'll be fun. So we'll look into that. And then let's see here. Want to talk a little bit about the Great Resignation, about how people are quitting in droves, and then what we can look forward to for the future there. Then also want to talk about this woman that says she was virtually gang raped in the metaverse. That should be interesting. And some Trump racism for you. And we got some more Jordan Peterson talk as well. So that'll be fun. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm not gonna, like I said, I've got to make this quick today. So we're gonna get what we can through today, and then we'll do anything I miss tomorrow on stream. So let's drop that intro, shall we? Hello. Okay.
I didn't pick it cross.
I bought drinks. Like they're sitting in there.
Well, Cross picked it up.
All right, fine, whatever. All right, guys. we'll see how much of this we can get through today, because it's been a rough day already. But I wanted to jump on for a bit. I said that I would do at least 3 streams this week, and so that's what I am doing. So let's get right into it, shall we? Let's see here. I want to make sure these stories are together here. Yeah, we got it. Okay, we're good. All right, guys. So first thing I wanted to talk to you about was there's been some developments in the Russia Ukraine situation. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. We've got an article here from ABC News that kind of goes over everything here. So let's see here. Always do that window capture. I was in a hurry today, so there we go. So in this article, it does explain that it appears that U.S. or we're saying the politicians in our country are saying that Russia's planning video of fake Ukrainian attack with corpses, mourners to justify invasion. So we got a little bit of a video here
Last night's operation
Joe Biden.
Took a major terrorist leader off the battlefield, and it sent a strong message to terrorists around the world. We will come after you and find you.
Okay. Get it, Joe Biden. I think he was talking about the situation with some terrorist that terrorist leader that was killed just recently. But we're gonna get to this here. It says the United States said Thursday it had intelligence that showed Russia is planning to create a video depicting a fake Ukrainian attack that it could release in order to justify its own invasion of Ukraine. Now, this isn't far-fetched, because this kind of stuff happens. Not only has Russia taken part in such propaganda and subterfuge and false flag operations, but the U.S. has too. I mean, it's something that like major countries that flirt with authoritarianism do on a fairly regular basis. But still not good at all. So one of a number of options Russia has been allegedly planning, U.S. officials said, was to stage a fake attack against Russia or Russian-speaking people. As part of this fake attack, we believe that Russia would produce a very graphic propaganda video, which would include corpses and actors that would be depicting mourners and images of destroyed locations, as well as military equipment, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said. So, they would produce that. Is there information that they are doing this, or is this just their, this is what we think they're going to do, or this is what could be a possibility? Because it sounds like they're like basically saying that Russia has plans to do this, or that they already did do it. So, anyways, the United States took the rare step of making this intelligence public in order to dissuade Russia from moving forward, or if it did move forward, to make it more difficult for it to spread disinformation after the fact, according to John Feiner, the principal deputy U.S. National Security Advisor. We don't know definitively that this is the route they're going to take, Feiner said in the interview with MSNBC, but we know that it is an option under consideration. He continued. Okay, so they know it's an option under consideration, or so their intelligence tells them. That would involve, actors playing mourners for people who are killed in an event that they would have created themselves. That would involve the deployment of corpses to represent bodies reportedly killed in an incident like this. So that's interesting. I don't put it past them. I really don't. I mean, this is something that they could potentially try to do. So it's not something that I'm thinking that they would not do, but whether there's absolute or definitive proof that this is something they're planning sounds like it's up in the air to me. The UK said later Wednesday that it had conducted its own analysis of the intelligence, and then it had high confidence that Russia is planning to engineer a pretext blaming Ukraine in order to justify a Russian incursion. This is clear and shocking evidence of Russia's unprovoked aggression and underhand activity to destabilize Ukraine, Britain's Foreign Security Liz Truss said, or Secretary Liz Truss said. It is not the first time in recent weeks that the United States has accused Russia of fabricating a pretext to justify invading Ukraine. The Kremlin on Wednesday dismissed the new allegations. This is not the first such promise, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said. According to the Russian state news agency TASS, earlier similar things were also voiced, but nothing ever occurs. Last month, the White House said the U.S. had intelligence that Russia had pre-positioned a group of operatives in the eastern Ukraine in order to create a false flag operation there. The administration said the group was trained in urban warfare and the use of explosives. So it sounds like that they were maybe trying to make it look like the Ukrainians were using these urban warfare tactics against the Russians when it was the Russians trying to plan this. Again, I don't know how accurate or true this information is right now, but it is something to think about. And if it was something they were going to do, it's probably good that that the U.S. called them out on it before they were able to get any statements about it out and make it look like this is something that actually happened. So a spokesperson for the White House National Security Council declined to say whether those the United States is accusing of being involved in creating a fake video were part of this same group. Let's see here. The U.S. believes Russia had already recruited the people who'd be involved with a fake attack video, and that Russian intelligence is intimately involved in this effort, according to the senior administration official. So yeah, it's pretty possible. The U.S. thinks that the military equipment used in this fabricated attack will be made to look like it is Ukrainian or from allied nations, and that it was possible that Bayraktar drones, which Ukraine has, would be used to make it look like Ukraine carried out the attack, according to the official. U.S. officials have repeatedly said as recently as Wednesday that they do not believe Russia's President Vladimir Putin had yet decided whether to invade Ukraine. So that's a big thing. It's like they don't know if this is something that he's decided on definitively yet. Let's see here. But if he did want to move forward, the senior administration official said one trigger could be Russia recognizing separatist regions in Ukraine as independent rather than as part of Ukraine. Russia's parliament is advancing legislation that would do so. So yeah, they're trying to flip the script. They're trying to frame things in a way that make it look as if that they're just trying to help the people who want to secede in Ukraine do so. But that's not necessarily their land to take. It's just a small minority of the people in eastern Ukraine that are pro-Russia, I guess, or at least paid to be pro-Russia. The U.S. believes that if Russia formally recognized the regions as independent, Russia could then release the video showing a fake Ukrainian attack, that it could portray it as in response to the independence recognition. Or Russia could just invade without releasing the video, according to another administration official. In line with previous interventions, Russia would portray its actions as defending the ethnic Russians and coming at the request of a sovereign government for assistance, the senior official said. So it's possible that this happens and maybe the Ukraine gets split. I don't know. It's just an interesting, development that that they were like, oh, there may be a false flag here. We may have to call Russia out for this. But it's not something that I think will stop Russia necessarily, just to call them out on that. So, and again, I don't think we should put troops right on the border of Ukraine, as far as American troops are concerned, because, I mean, that is pretty much a declaration of war at that point, and that could start World War III. I do like training and giving the Ukrainians the weapons they need to defend themselves, and I do think that aid in other places is required, necessary, and we should give it to them. So, but as far as us, we have to be very careful about our involvement, because if we step over a certain line, then it makes us look as if we're the aggressor, and then it could start World War III, which is not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing. So that is it for that particular segment. We're going to breeze right through these damn things. I swear to God. That's what we're going to do. We'll go to that later. Oh yeah, this is something I definitely wanted to cover. So we'll get to this first here. So Ben Shapiro, as many of you may know, talks often about how he doesn't like critical race theory, and how he doesn't like the indoctrination of our children by the left wing of America. That the socialists and the social justice warriors are basically trying to brainwash children who would otherwise be right wing into being left wing, and being socialist, and being anti-racist, which I don't know why that's a bad thing, but teaching them critical race theory and whatnot. But this is a big pot calling the kettle black situation, because good old Ben Shapiro decided that he was going to support a line of children's books called Qizmhet by going to schools and indoctrinating children with right-wing bullshit. So let's take a look at this and see hypocrite Ben Shapiro in action, shall we?
So here we are today at a public library, and I know what you're thinking. Ben, haven't you read all the books there already? Of course I have, but that's not why we're here. My producers have given me a stack of cards. They have a bunch of terms on them having to do with the government. I have to explain these to very, very small children in a fashion that kids can understand. So we'll find out how this is going to go. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Qizmhet.
Okay, here we go. Teaches politics to kids. You mean it indoctrinates them in your bullshit? That's
Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, you're very well-behaved children. All right, so I'm supposed to teach you about things today, so get ready.
Yay?
Yay?
I've seen my mom look at him on Facebook. She said he was a very smart guy.
Do you think he is?
Your mom's a fucking liar. He might be kind of smart. He might be smart in the fact that that he knows how to use rhetoric and stuff, but his ideas behind his arguments are trash.
Well, now that I've met him, maybe.
Freedom.
Maybe.
Okay, freedom.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if these kids call him out.
Definition?
Oh yeah, give me a definition, go for it.
America.
Definition of freedom is marriage.
No. No. But, you know, we're supposed to be free.
America. Okay, that's actually, okay, I kind of like that. I'm with you. America. Okay, so.
America.
Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to make good choices and have those pay off. A lot of people kind of think that freedom is you get to do what you want.
No, that's not what freedom means. Freedom means being able to do what you want without inhibiting on the freedoms of others, without inhibiting on the abilities of others to do what they want, so on and so forth. So yeah, you can't murder somebody because that inhibits their ability to live their life and do other things. So that's free. You can't steal from somebody because you know, that you're not free to steal somebody because that inhibits their right to privacy and their right to ownership of the things that they own. There's the explanation he gets just to make good choices, and hopefully you come out on top for that. No, that's not what it means. He's completely wrong here, completely off base. Freedom is being able to do and say and be what you want, as long as it does not infringe on the rights of others to do and say and be what they want. So therefore, like, I mean, Nazis, which we'll talk about later, can spout all kinds of things, and they're free in their right to do that, because it's not deliberately impeding the freedom of people of color or the Jewish people or whatnot. But if they do barricade those people or stop them from passing in a certain way, or harass them or threaten them, so that these people are afraid to, you know, leave their house, or they're getting death threats and stuff like that, that is impeding their freedom. So there's a fine line there. You have to be careful. But it is also our freedom, if Nazis or Ben Shapiro say something that we don't like, to call them out for it and to call them stupid for doing so.
If you want to run into a tree, that's freedom. Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't eat people like that. You don't have freedom to eat people. Cannibalism is bad.
I forgot what that's called.
It's called cannibalism.
My mom and dad told me I was gonna meet Ben Shapiro.
And did you know who he was?
Nope.
Government. Okay, so
Why would he? It's not like he's like Ben Shapiro's like a kids like programming guy, or like he's not like Yo Gabba Gabba or Blue's Clues. Why would they know him?
who has an idea about government? Go for it.
I don't.
Government is what takes all of your money and gives you very little in return.
That is not true.
Okay, that's
He gets called out. It's not true. It's not true. Yeah. See, straight up indoctrination. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is not true. So I don't fully trust government, but I see the necessity for it, right? And government should work for us. It should be working for us by doing things like paying for healthcare, by giving shelter to the needy, making sure that the working class doesn't get like basically wage slaved by corporations. It's there to do, and now it's not working very well right now, but it is there in order to make sure that the citizens are taken care of and that they're safe, right? You have to be careful with that though, because by saying safe, they could be like, well, we're doing this for your own good, like, you know, military or like a police state or something like that, right? And the military budget is grossly inflated to the point where shit, we're real fucking safe from just about anybody. But you know, we don't need to spend that much on the military. We would be a lot more safer and prosperous as people if we put more money into education and things like that. But I digress.
I mean, it's kind of true. It depends on the kind of government.
Taxes are for.
Yeah, that is what taxes are for, but taxes are theft, children.
See? He doesn't, what? He doesn't even explain to them. He's just telling them, oh, they're stealing from you. No, taxes are needed for roads and bridges and things of that nature. They're needed for the police. They're needed for social welfare programs that will help people who are in need. They're needed for just the inner working, you know, keeping the country going, making sure everything's not falling apart.
The reality is that government...
Again, taxes are something that aren't necessarily utilized the way that they should be utilized. There's a lot of things that my taxes go to that I'd rather have them not go to. But it doesn't mean that they're theft in general.
Is necessary so that people don't hurt each other, so that people don't murder each other. Right, so people don't eat people. That's right.
Yes.
You do need a government to prevent people from eating people. The Constitution Who knows something about the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so the Constitution. Okay, the Constitution is the document that lays out the list of rules for what the government can do and what the government cannot do. So the Declaration of Independence is 1776. So right as we're founding the country, right as the founding fathers are founding the country in the Revolutionary War, we fought a war against Great Britain in 1770.
Well, it's not only that, but it lays out the rights of the people as well, and kind of lays out what is expected of the citizenry as well. So it's not just what the government can and can't do.
76.
You do know a lot.
What was that?
And talk okay, maybe you do know a lot. And talk fast.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do talk
very
fast.
fast.
But you guys can keep up. You're young.
I do run pretty fast.
I'm sure you do.
I run very fast.
mean,
run super
Let me tell you, I don't worry about talking too fast with kids because my kids wipe me out. My kids tire me out. Okay, the president.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Who knows who the
Biden.
president is right now?
Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
That's right.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Oh God. Yeah, some of these kids are gonna grow up to be assholes. They've got that. You can tell that their parents, like the one that you can just tell that they're. Hopefully, maybe they're only going to be indoctrinated for a short period of time, and then we'll rebel against this crap. But time will tell, I guess.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Biden. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Trump,
Yeah.
he is the best. He was better.
Oh God, no. You poor child.
Don't insult the president because he will come and attack you.
Whoa.
Hey now. Yeah, he's way off base about that.
Taxes.
Yeah, he's way off base about that.
Okay, do you guys like taxes?
Taxes are fees that you have to pay for your houses.
Well, yeah, it's not, there is.
And air conditioning and solar.
Right, you have to pay taxes on like everything.
Yeah.
Like
Watches.
everything. Except-
Electricity.
Not on your income in Florida,
I
because
hate
Florida's amazing.
electricity.
Right, so taxes are the government
Yeah, Florida's amazing. It's full of Nazis right now, but it's amazing.
takes a part of the money that you spend, or the money that you earn, or the property
And they
value of your
spend
house.
it on useless stuff. What about debt?
Mostly, yes. I mean, they're supposed to spend it on things like the police. They're not supposed to spend it on just random projects or silly things that they have.
What do you mean random projects, Ben? Like what does that mean? Like infrastructure? Like God. Fixing our bridges and stuff, making sure that our schools are funded? Is that a project? Making sure that, people don't go into retirement completely like destitute? Making sure people have health care? Just the police, very libertarian of you, Ben. Very libertarian of you. Just, we need a police, but screw helping poor people. Jesus.
In their head, and they tend to spend it on kind of silly things very often. But as you get older, you will realize how little you like taxes. Taxes are very, very annoying.
I already think they're terrible.
Alrighty, let's see what else.
Yeah.
Quantitative easing.
What?
Wow, who put this one in here?
What the fuck? And you're complaining about kids learning critical race theory, right?
All right, are we really gonna do this? We could do this. Okay,
No.
so yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Everybody's laughing.
The reason that they're laughing is because this is super duper complicated. You know what a dollar is, right? Y'all used dollars before.
Yeah.
How about Monopoly money? Have you guys ever played Monopoly?
Right?
Okay.
My mom and dad in it.
If you guys went to the store with Monopoly money, could you buy anything?
No.
No, you couldn't. Why not?
Because it's fake.
Because it's not real money. There is an agency of the federal government is
What's this have to do with quantitative reasoning? Or quantitative easing? Like, that doesn't have anything to do. Monopoly money has nothing to do.
called the Federal Reserve. Okay, the Federal
Oh,
Reserve
okay,
controls
here we go.
how many dollars are out there. If they just print a bunch of dollars and then they just give you those dollars, it turns out they didn't make you rich. All that happened is that your dollar now doesn't buy as many things. If the Federal Reserve just makes $1,000 and gives it to you and gives it to everybody, you can't buy an ice cream bar with $1 anymore. Now the ice cream bar is going to cost like $1,000. Okay, that's what quantitative.
I think that's a kind of a big jump. If the government prints $1,000 more, it's going to make ice cream $1,000. I don't think he's explaining these things very well, and he's filling these kids' heads full of crap.
Easing is.
Can you explain to me the concept of quantitative easing? Go.
I forgot.
So guys, you just learned more than you will in all of college about how the government works. So one of the questions that I frequently get asked is, how do I talk to my own children about conservative values and the things that matter? And my answer is Conserva-Kids. Conserva-Kids brings you books like...
Oh my God. And they fucking are using Rosie the Riveter as... God damn it. Trying to steal everything from us.
Home of the Brave, for example, in which they discuss things like American values and American history. They're beautifully...
Let's see if we can read some of these pages. Here are the men in the American Revolution. We call them our founding fathers. The king was a big bully named George III. Our founders had to be brave to win their independence from the king in Great Britain because they were courageous. Today we live in the nation they founded, the United States of America. Yeah, that's pretty innocuous. You know, nothing too bad there.
Illustrated, they're really well written, and they have values that you can feel comfortable sharing.
All right, we're gonna you know what? Let's take a look at this page real quick here. So let's see here. Conserva-Kids is a book series that provides a fun way to have intentional and age-appropriate conversations with your children about core values that make our country exceptional. Each book reinforces American ideals through a story that both kids and parents can enjoy. All right. What do they mean by core American values? I want to see. American values are under attack. Today's culture is actively trying to diminish the value of freedom, courage, and hard work by inundating our children with messages that undermine those principles. Okay, let's take a look here. So, not a lot of books here. Just 4. No, not even 4. 3. So we got Home of the Brave. Let's take a look. Okay, that's the one we were looking at there. Future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. Ronald Reagan. When they encounter adversity, the Conserva-Kids look to examples of brave Americans throughout history to find the courage to face the future. What, did some trans kid join their PE class or something? Is that what? Oh, God, I don't know. Like, I feel like these are... Okay, let's see here. Taste of freedom. Freedom is more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. The Conserva-Kids spend a weekend at Grandma's house and discover a family heritage of freedom. Yeah. Yeah. Land of opportunity. I really, really want to see what's in these books. But I don't want to buy them, you know. But I feel like they're making it pretty innocuous looking on the front face. But you can tell by the rhetoric on the page that these are probably some form of right-wing indoctrination. That's what I would think. So let's continue with the video.
With your children, which is the most important thing. There's so many forces out there that are seeking to twist what kids think. There's so many people out there who want your kids to believe things that they really shouldn't believe, who want to take control of your child's education away from you. Not so with Conserva-Kids. Conserva-Kids is the way that you can teach your kids about the stuff that matters. They bring you all sorts of beautiful books. They have a great variety, a great selection. Check them out today at theconservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. You get 15% off when you use code 15Ben. Again, they just make great materials. They're safe for all your kids. Not just safe, they're virtuous for you to get for your kids. theconservakids.com/Shapiro.
I wonder if Ben's getting a cut of the royalties here.
That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. 15% off with code 15Ben. Okay, go for it.
Question and answers.
What do you think about, like, superstars and athletes talking about politics?
So everybody in the country gets to talk about whatever they want to talk about, but athletes and superstars generally don't know anything about what they're talking about when it comes to politics. When LeBron James says things, that doesn't mean he knows things. Yeah.
Just like what's his name, Aaron Rodgers, doesn't know a fucking thing.
Will you ever be a president?
You know, all the presidents are now 100 years old, right? Like Joe Biden is really, really old. Joe Biden is 79 years old. I'm 38, which to you guys seems like super old, right? No? Okay, good. That's true.
My mom's 42. My dad's 52. My dad is 48.
I'll wait until my kids are grown up. I would never run for office while I have little kids, because I want to be home with my kids. My kids are
Oh my God. Just the perspective of Ben Shapiro being president of the United States kind of makes my stomach turn. Yeah, that would not be a good situation, I don't think. I don't think that he would be in a place where he would know what the hell he was doing, basically.
They're super cute. I want to spend like a lot of time with them.
When is Ben gonna admit that he's gonna run for president?
If he wanted to be president, he would probably be it tomorrow, but he just talks about it.
Raise your hand if you want Trump to be president. That means you as well. I want you to be president.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Why are the people angry at the government?
Why are people angry at the government? Because sometimes the government tells us to do stuff the government shouldn't tell us to do.
Do you think homeschooling will ever be banned?
Not in Florida. So I think that there will be places that try to stop homeschooling. I come from a
No, I don't think that is the case. I think it's ridiculous that we have to put so little money and time into our public education system that we can't even teach kids correctly there. But allowing parents to do it themselves is kind of ridiculous too, because they don't really know that much. Why don't we just... And then private schools, of course, not everybody can afford those. So why don't we just fund our schools properly? The only time that these guys take interest in school is when they're trying to push their agenda or talk about how the left is indoctrinating children, which obviously you can see from this video is a pot calling kettle black situation.
A state called California, where monsters roam the streets and garbage is strewn everywhere. It's a horror-scape. No, I'm joking. They don't actually have real monsters, but it's a really poorly, the way that they run the state is really bad. So they have lots of crime, they have high taxes.
Like you think there is a monster.
Right, exactly. I came here because Florida is
you
amazing,
show
guys.
me?
You're so lucky to be growing up in Florida. Florida's amazing.
America is the best, but Florida's really hot. What does the government do?
What does the government do? Okay, so there's various kinds of government. There's your local government, like where you live. And then there's the state government, like the state of Florida, and then there's the federal government. They all do different things. So your local government, they do the police and they do the firefighting. Okay, then there's the state government. The state government decides, for example, how money goes to your local public school, for example, or how taxes get paid and how roads get made and all of that. Then there's the federal government. The federal government, the Constitution says what the federal government can do. Make sure that there's an army and a navy and an air force and that they are able to protect us against people who would want to attack the United States. That's the biggest thing the federal government does. Yeah.
Do you think Biden actually follows his own law?
I think that Biden...
Oh man, these questions are so fed to these kids. It's unbelievable. These kids are not asking these questions of their own volition. This is complete propaganda.
Biden kind of makes up the rules as he goes. I don't think, unfortunately, he cares very much about...
Are you fucking kidding me? He makes up the rules as he goes? You supported Donald Trump. That guy didn't follow a rule the whole fucking time he was in office. I mean, Jesus Christ.
The rules for being president. I think he just tries to do whatever he can do. And then he hopes that nobody stops him, which is not a very good way of being president.
Talk about fucking projection, man. Talk about projection. Jesus Christ, I'm no Joe Biden fan at all, but this is malarkey, as old Sleepy Joe would say.
And that's why the founders were really smart. The founders created a system where there are people who can stop you if you break the rules, which is really important.
Do you think China purposefully caused a pandemic?
I think that...
Definitely fed to... This question was fed to them.
China purposefully covered up a pandemic. It probably started in a laboratory in China, and then it got released, and then they pretended that it was not their fault, and they didn't know what was going on, and they lied a lot, and then it got out and killed a lot of people.
I don't think there's any proof of that whatsoever. I mean, other than the fact that like they barely believe it was made in a lab at some point. And but I don't even know if like if it wasn't deliberate, if that's the case either. And that's the way they make it sound kind of. And another thing is the whole thing about the lab and stuff like that, it just kind of adds to conspiracy theories. Why does it even matter? I mean, we're living with it now. Hindsight's 2020. We just kind of have to deal with it, right? Let's deal with the present.
Do you think the Supreme Court will overturn Roe versus Wade?
So fed. They were they made that girl say that question 20 times before she asked it on camera.
Wow. I think the Supreme Court will not overturn Roe versus Wade, unfortunately. I have a feeling that the Supreme Court is going to change the rules of Roe versus Wade, but that doesn't mean they're going to throw it out completely. They're going to do what they always do, and they're going to be confusing about it.
Who is your favorite Democrat?
Wow, that is a difficult question.
I know, right?
A lie.
Oh, Jesus. I wonder who he's gonna say, like Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema or some shit like that.
Alive? A Democrat who's alive?
We finally
Right now, Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia is my current favorite Democrat. He's preventing Joe Biden from doing a lot of bad things.
Oh my God.
Do you think we can have
I
a
knew that
stable
shit was gonna
government
happen. I fucking knew it. I knew he was gonna say that.
again?
I mean, I think that the government is still pretty stable, is the truth. We should be grateful to live in a country where the government is this stable. The truth is that if you look at history and if you look at all other countries, there are a lot of countries that really don't have a stable government, and it's really difficult. We're so lucky to live in this country, we really are. So as much as we have problems here in the United States, this is still a fabulous, fabulous country, and we should all really be grateful to live here. And that I guess is the thing that I would say to all you guys. You guys you're gonna live like for a super long time, and you're gonna get to see all sorts of amazing things happen in the country, and
Like climate refugees and the destruction of cities from sea levels and the loss of a public school system and the takeover of our government by totalitarian regimes. And corporate interests. Yeah, you guys are gonna see a lot of great things.
The most important thing to remember is the harder you work, the better your life is going to be. The better the decisions you make, the more responsible you are, the more you help other people, the better your life is going to be. In this country, which is the best country in the world, if you make great decisions, you're going to have an unbelievably awesome life. You're going to make a huge difference in the world, and you can make the world a better place.
Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. And what's that thing on your head?
Oh, good question. Okay, so this is a yarmulke. Jews and Christians believe in the same God. We just have slightly different beliefs about the kind of stuff that we have to do that God says.
It's just so crazy, the cognitive dissonance in this guy's head, because like, you know, he's like, it's as long as you help as many people as you can and make good choices. Yet let's screw Medicare for all. Let's get rid of Medicaid. Let's get rid of Social Security insurance. Let's not have any social safety nets whatsoever. He's full of crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about because on one side he thinks it's good. He's telling people it's good to help people, yet that's not something that he gives a shit about.
That we have to do. So what this means is that Orthodox Jews who keep a lot of commandments, we keep this on our head, right? In the Bible, when it talks about the Israelites, that's the Jews. So the Jews eventually, now we're their descendants. So we keep the yarmulke on our head to remind us that God is around us at all times. So we should make good decisions, basically. Alrighty, guys. Well, you can go enjoy your day now because it's all over. So you're good. Thank you, guys. It's great to meet all of you.
If you want to take some of these kids home,
I have 3 of my own, so more children in my house. No, they've got parents. I feel like their parents should keep them.
which is tougher, talking to kids about government or explaining government to Democrats?
Oh, by far, it's more difficult to explain government to Democrats.
Well, of course, because you're explaining it to kids who are fucking impressionable and soaking up your ideas like a sponge, as opposed to people who already have their ideals formed through experience and seeing things the way they truly are in the world, you know? And still they don't even get it right sometimes, but they've got more of an idea. And kids, they're gonna listen to you, anything you say.
Democrats, because they're so certain about the things that they know, and those things are
Well,
just
most of them, that one kid fought back a little bit, so that was cool.
wrong. Whereas kids just don't know things, and you can actually explain them to them.
Are you more or less hopeful for the future?
I'm way more hopeful for the future than before I did this, because those kids are smarter than the people that we have in Congress currently.
I only came today because I thought Knowles was gonna be here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that was a thing. As I was saying, guys, like this whole idea of indoctrination of kids that the right always tries to spread, that the left is doing, that's like we're trying to steal their children's ideals and stuff like that, or we're trying to indoctrinate all kids. It's bullshit, because they're doing it 30,000 times. So we try to teach history. We try to teach kids that, you know, racism's bad or whatever, those types of things. They're actually going in there and feeding them right-wing talking points. And not only the Daily Wire and Conserva Kids or whatever the fuck that is doing this, but the PragerU has children's videos out that are even worse. Pretty fucking bad. So yeah, there are definitely lots of indoctrination going in on the right, and they just don't like it when kids are given a point of view that isn't their own. That's the only difference. So, pot calling the kettle black, in a nutshell. All right, 2 segments down. We're rolling on with this stuff. We've got about an hour left. Okay. Shit, let's see. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys heard or not, but there has been this huge rally of Nazis in Florida right now. So this is an interesting thing here. We're gonna look at through some tweets to see this stuff here. All right, let's check it out here. Let's see.
Hail Hitler, what he did. No more Jews. You get the black power, you got white power.
So sick, man. Like, this guy, he thinks he's the master race. This guy right here? You fucking kidding me?
White power.
You're live. 6 million viewers.
White pride's when you think it. White power is when you live it. You can shove that finger up your rabbi's ass. He's a Jew. Look at him. Guess where you're going back to?
You know how we know you're a Jew? We can tell by how close your eyes are together, you fuck.
That is just fucking awful. This guy fucking thinks he's the master race, right? Look at that dude. He's trying to fucking stand up straight. Oh, he looks like fucking like the dude from Family Guy. Fucking yeah. He looks. He's not. What? It makes no sense.
Oy vey! I'm gonna go tell somebody about this. Let me tell my rabbi. Where you go? Let me go suck some baby penis. It's a papa. What do you say? Let me suck the blood from the baby's penis like the rabbi does. What do you say? Another satisfied customer. Come again.
What was that? These guys think they're smart or witty or whatever, and it's just not the case.
White power! White power! White power! White power! White power!
What the fuck? I can't believe that we still got this going on in a world like this, right? Like, let's see if we can find some more video on this. Nazis in Florida. So, Nazis in Florida and the Trump crime family are not the America I want. Retweet if you agree. Yeah, why not? Let's see if we can find some more video. Well, there's some more pictures of these guys. Yeah, look at this here. Vax the Jews. Goyim TV .tv or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. Look at this. It's like a lot of these guys, by the way, are helping out with the freedom rally or freedom convoy in Canada. You see a lot of Nazi flags, swastikas, and even Confederate flags up there, which is weird. I mean, you're more north than north. Jesus. So, oh yeah, this isn't Canada. See, this is the Canadian. Yeah, see this, fuck Trudeau. They'll bring out Nazi symbols and stuff like that with the libertarian. It's just, I don't know. These guys don't know ideology. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They're going to appropriate. Oh my god. This image right here makes me fucking sick. Retweeting that for sure. Oh my god. Yep, there's the Goyim TV one again. I'm gonna try to find. So these guys think they're cool. There's that dude. Oh my god. These guys are just sickening, man. I don't get it. I don't get why anybody, like, how you would get up and just think, oh, and then there's, I believe this is the video on, there was a video on DeSantis not, we got DeSantis talking about the Nazi situation. See if we can find that. I feel bad for that dog. All right, here we go.
So what I'm going to say is these people, these Democrats who are trying to use this as some type of political issue to try to smear me as if I had something to do with it, we're not playing their game. You know, some jackasses, doing this on the street. First of all, state law enforcement is going to hold them accountable because they were doing stuff on the overpass. So they're absolutely going to do that, and they should do that. But I'm not going to have people try to smear me that belong to a political party that has elevated anti-Semites to the halls of Congress. Like
What the
Omar,
fuck, man? You're going to compare Ilhan Omar to Nazis. Like, you're going to compare Ilhan Omar to literal Nazis. Oh my god. Are you fucking serious? Like, there's no comparison. This guy, DeSantis is a fucking joke, man.
Their party that have cavorted with Farrakhan. No, we're going to take our record in Florida and what we've done. Signed the strongest anti-Semitism bill in the country. We've stared down companies who were indulged in BDS like Airbnb, and we've won. We've provided record funding for Jewish day schools, and we've had the strongest relationship.
I wonder what Ben Shapiro's take is on the Nazis in Florida. He doesn't seem to be saying much. What's this? Hell yeah, I'm black and I like Trump. Why are there all these white people wearing hell yeah, I'm black shirts? What the fuck, man? So you can kind of see all of these people here and individually. Yeah, so it's just kind of ridiculous.
Hail Hitler!
What the fuck, man? Okay. So that's some bullshit. See what this guy has to say.
Love you, big
I love this
fan.
guy.
I know you. You went on your show, The View, today and said that the Holocaust wasn't about race. Yes, it fucking was all and only about race.
He's going off about the Whoopi Goldberg thing because she went on to The View and said that the Holocaust wasn't about race. And she wasn't trying to be, I don't think, like, it was just a really bad take. She wasn't trying to be, anti-Jew or anything like that. She was just, or saying that, she was basically trying to say people are mean to each other, but, like, she did it in the wrong way, man.
It was about kill the Jews, exterminate the Jews. They're not white, they're Jewish. That's like saying slavery wasn't about race. You need to apologize. You need to explain yourself. Not good, not cool. And especially a day when in Orlando, these fake fucking wannabe budget, good for nothing scumbags are down there playing dress up, cosplaying like they're Nazis. Leave the fucking Jews alone. Everybody just leave the fucking Jews alone. Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. You tell him. Is that Michael Rappaport? Yeah. Yeah, it was funny that oh shit, let's watch this one. It was funny that Whoopi Goldberg says this, and then this shit happens like around the same time. So I heard about this. These guys might go to jail. We'll see. But it was like Nazi just like hit this guy.
He's getting swung on. Don't stop it. Don't back up. Oh, now he's getting swung on.
What the fuck?
Don't.
So what's the context behind this? My son just witnessed Nazis in Orlando. He said there were dozens hanging on the corner. The guy getting assaulted got out of his car and pushed one of them.
Stop it. Don't back up.
I just want to see, like, this guy's...
Oh, now he's getting swung on. Don't.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, as much as they deserve to get hit in the face, the Nazis do. Like, it's probably not a good idea to jump out of your car when there's like 50 of them right there. I mean, brave, ballsy, but not very smart. Let's see here. Instead of being a strong American resolute leader who denounces Nazis in Florida, Governor DeSantis prefers a neutral bystander.
What I'm going to say is these people, these Democrats who are trying to use this as some type of political issue.
Yeah, that we already saw that. Yeah, it's basically what he's doing. He's using a scapegoat for the situation. It's ridiculous. I mean, look at this, Trump, Pence. And nobody says that Trump, everybody says that Trump is not associated with white supremacy. How come, like, he's got so many followers that like to put them on flags and shit? Yeah. It's a sad, sad day in America, guys, to see stuff like this. I just hope that, you know, these guys get condemned highly for doing this. I hope they lose their jobs. Shit like that. You know, they have every right to stand out there and be complete fucking morons, but it is our right as well to condemn them, right? That's what we need to do. That's what we should do. All right. Let's see here. What else are we going to get to? let's watch a video. Well, actually, we're going to go over this real quick, too, because I wanted to go over Joe Rogan responding to the backlash that he's been getting on Spotify by people like Neil Young and other artists and stuff. He kind of, kind of apologized. There's some interesting like tidbits here, and he seems to be somewhat sincere about at least trying to balance things a little bit better, which is a good thing. So we're going to take a look here and see what this article on Joe Rogan has to say here. It says, Joe Rogan defends podcast and apologizes to Spotify for backlash. Joe Rogan has issued a response to the ongoing controversy that has seen artists including Neil Young and Joni Mitchell removing their music from Spotify because of not wanting to share a platform with his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. In a nearly 10-minute video uploaded onto Instagram, Rogan defends his decision to book contentious guests, apologizes to Spotify for backlash, and details how the podcast may change in the future. Let's take a look.
Hello, friends. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about 2 episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about 2.
At least he admits it's dangerous, like, to do that. I don't know if that's exactly what it was doing, but it sounded like he was admitting that it was dangerous. And it says, well, if Neil Young's mad, LOL. Wait, what's wrong with Joe Rogan Experience? Well, I think that he's going to address that in this video, but basically, he platforms people who are pushing information that could be a detriment to the health of the country and to people in general. But also, he doesn't equally platform people who have opposing views, and that's a problem. I think he says that he's just having conversations. He's just talking. Well, then get both sides of the story. I mean, you've got 100 scientists or 1,000 or 10,000 scientists saying one thing, and then you got this one guy that you bring on who is completely denying the science, and just because he's a professional doesn't make him right, And Joe Rogan isn't informed enough to push back against a lot of the things these people are saying. So what he has to do is if he wants to platform those people, he's going to have to balance it out with people who have the intelligence to, and not just separately. He should have them on both at the same time. Maybe have a debate between, an anti-vax, like, somebody in the medical field who's anti-vax, and then somebody who's pro-vaccination for COVID at the same time, and ask them questions back and forth. But he doesn't seem to do that. He brings them on one at a time and platforms them, and he gives way more credence to the people with the views that are against the science, basically.
One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history.
But he's a cardiologist. That has nothing to do with disease, right? Like, he's not a pathologist or anything like that.
Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is. I had them on, and because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous. They had dangerous misinformation in them. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like, for instance,
all right, but that's not always the case. Things change, right? Like ideas change. The COVID strains have changed, so it's like things are maybe different for them than they wasn't for the original strain. Just to say that everything you to frame it as everything that you think is true today may be false later or whatever. That doesn't. It's not a way to be ethical about your coverage of these things. It sounds like the doc was involved in mRNA. Can we fact check this doc? Yeah, and he was involved in the technology. I don't think he's a pathologist. I'm not sure. But he was involved in the technology of it. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily. I mean, he obviously has some knowledge of the subject. I'm not saying he does, but there are so many people in the fields of pathology and other things that are. Virology or whatever you call it, that are saying that he's wrong, that there are way more benefits to the vaccine, that the vaccine is fairly safe, or not extremely safe for most people. I think like something like 0.00008% or something like that have had adverse reactions or long-term bad effects or death from the vaccine. And you're going to find that with everything. I think that's lower than the flu vaccine and even polio vaccines and things like that. So,
for instance, 8 months ago, if you said if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you would be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms.
No, that's not true, because it's always been said that. It says the only thing that they said is it's with the original strain, it was 90% effective, 85 to 95% effective actually within those, depending on the vaccine. So nobody ever said that if you get the vaccine, you're not going to get COVID ever again, or so on and so forth, or that you can't transmit it. Nobody ever said that. It was much more unlikely that was the case. Very much more unlikely that was the case. But nobody ever said that it's impossible for that to happen. I mean, like again with the flu vaccine, you can get the flu, and still give it to other people after you've been vaccinated for the flu. It just won't be as virulent. It won't be as harsh on you, and it won't be as easy to pass to other people.
Now, that's accepted as fact. If you said, I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media. Now, that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN.
No, it's not. It's not that cloth masks do work to a certain extent. They're not foolproof. See, this is the framing of rhetoric, and that you have to be responsible with. So he's full of it right here, because nobody has ever said that masks don't work. They simply said that to get the full amount of protection, you need something like an N95 mask. But wearing a cloth mask will do something. It does protect people. Maybe not as much as an N95, but definitely a lot more than not having it done at all, or not having a covering on your face at all. So he's framing this completely wrong.
Then, if you said, I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now that's on the cover of news.
Nobody ever banned anybody for saying that. I don't think nobody's been banned for saying that it may have come from a lab. And I don't think that's still inconclusive, by the way. I don't think that they have factual information on that. I think it's that there's evidence to that fact, but it's not conclusive. So again, not right.
All of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those two men that I had on my podcast that have been accused of dangerous misinformation. I do not know if they're right. I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down.
That's the problem though, Joe. You treat them as they are right when they're on your show. You have Google, you have your buddy checking stuff on Google all the time. Fact check those motherfuckers, you know? Like, you fact check other people who come on and are pro-vaccine and, you know, pro-masking. You fact check them. I've seen it happen. But these guys, you just let them talk? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You pretend that you have no bias in the situation, but you do. And that's fine. Everybody has a bias to a certain amount, but don't try to cover it up like you don't. Like you're just, you know, providing them a platform, you know, which is bad enough as it is. You're enabling that information.
Talks to people and has conversations with them. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth. I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions. I'm not interested in only talking to people that have one perspective. That's one of the reasons why I had Sanjay Gupta on, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who I respect very much, and I really enjoyed our conversation together. He has a different opinion than those men do. I had Dr.
Yeah, but like, okay, so, but you come to no conclusions, right? Okay, so I can tell that you have bias on these subjects because the way that you speak about them and the way that you fight back against certain things. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that his audience has shifted massively to an anti-vax audience, to a more conservative audience. And so he's just kind of playing into that a little bit. But it's dangerous to do so when you know, you're bringing people on who could say things that potentially get people to not get vaccinated and die. I've had about 4 family members. My kid's mom, her fiance just had his grandpa die because of COVID complications. I had a young friend who just recently died from COVID complications. And so it's not, you know, and these people were like unvaccinated. They didn't believe in being vaccinated, and it killed them. Now, everybody that I know that's got, I don't know one person. I know there's a few of them. Don't get me wrong. You know, people with comorbidities and things like that. I know there's a few people who have died from COVID even after getting the vaccine, but they're so minuscule compared to the lives that have been saved because they took the vaccine.
Dr. Michael Osterholm on at the very beginning of the pandemic. He is on President Biden's COVID-19 advisory board. I had Dr. Peter Hotez on, who is a vaccine expert. I'm interested in finding out what is correct, and I'm also finding out how people come to these conclusions and what the facts are. Now, because of this controversy, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes with these controversies, but
a conspiracy. He's trying to create a conspiracy theory there. Oh, it's the deep state against Joe Rogan.
Neil Young has removed his music from the...
Neil Young's part of the CIA. He's a deep state operative. It's all propaganda.
The platform of Spotify, and Joni Mitchell and...
Joni Mitchell's a left-wing a social justice warrior. She's going to bring about the change of the world. You know, it's going to be just lesbians taking over, and you know, she's going to ruin traditional values. She's part of the deep state.
Apparently some other people want to as well. I'm very sorry that they feel that way. I most certainly don't want that. I'm a Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. I'll tell you a story at the end of this about that. One of the things that Spotify wants to do that I agree with is that at the beginning of these controversial podcasts, like specifically ones about COVID,
says, wait, so the man has an opinion and has people on that share his opinion. I don't think we should place responsibility on Joe for sharing his perspective, even if it's questionable. There's a responsibility, I think, when I do this, even though I have a small audience, a very small audience. But I went into this doing this to by the name of the show, Vertigo Veritas TV, means, you know, finding truth in chaos. So there's a lot of chaos going around. There's a lot of like misinformation going around right now. The problem with it is, and he can say this, maybe if there's a disclaimer put down at the bottom of the screen, and he can have this opinion if he wants. But what the thing is that there are millions of people, impressionable people, who watch his show and decide not to get vaccinated because of the people he brought on, and then they die or they spread it to other people. You know, it just seems irresponsible to me. I'm like I heard somebody say this the other day. You know, I live by Spider-Man ethics, right? With great power comes great responsibility. This man has great power because he has an audience that is so large and can get so many people to buy into the things that he's saying that it could cause a lot of deaths. He could be causing the deaths of people. So that's a problem. That's an issue. I think that if he does what he said he's going to do and balance things out and have other people on and stuff like that, then that's okay. But I think he shouldn't have somebody with an opinion that's so far removed from the mainstream science of a subject without having somebody on else to counter that. And that's not even the same thing. People eat Tide Pods and can't blame Tide for making them look tasty. That's not even the same thing. Nobody's saying, oh, you know, there's a nutritional value in Tide Pods, prove me wrong, or anything like that. It's not anywhere near the same thing. And I do agree people should make their own determinations, but if they got somebody coercing them, that's why I'm saying that he has a responsibility. You know, he has a responsibility being the largest platform in the United States, not like largest news platform in the United States. And largest information, that's a lot of people get their information is from his show. So coercing may have been the wrong word. I would say convincing would be more the word. But still, it's a problem.
Is to put a disclaimer and say that you should speak with your physician and that these people and
See, even he's saying that you should put a disclaimer at the bottom of the videos, or, you know, things like that.
Opinions that they express are contrary to the opinions of
Not all of us have a platform of 10 million people, though, that watch him daily.
Consensus of experts, which I think is very important. Sure, have that on there. I'm very happy with that. Also, I think if there's anything that I've done that I could do better is have more experts with differing opinions right after I have the controversial ones.
No, not right after, Rogan. Have them on at the same time. I think that's a better idea. Book 2 guests. Why is it so? Why? Your studio's a decent size. I've seen you have 2 guests on before. No problem in that. I don't have a problem with you having these other guests on. These guys that have these like bad takes and bad opinions and are completely outside of the science on things and completely wrong given the consensus of science. I don't mind you having them on as long as you have somebody on to counter them.
I would most certainly be open to doing that. And I would like to talk to some people that have differing opinions on those podcasts in the future. We'll see. You know, I do all the scheduling myself, and I don't always get it right. These podcasts are very strange because they're just conversations. And oftentimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and talk to people.
But yeah, if you bring on that guy, you know, that's spreading code misinformation, and you bring him on and you tout him as an expert on your show, you know what it's going to be talked about, Joe. You know what's going to be talked about. It's going to be about anti-vax shit. That's what it's going to be about.
People, and that's why some of my ideas are not that prepared or fleshed out, because I'm literally having them in real time. But I do my best, and they're just conversations, and I think that's also the appeal of the show. It's one of the things that makes it interesting. So I want to thank Spotify for being so supportive during this time, and I'm very sorry that this is happening to them and that they're taking so much heat from it. And so now the Neil Young story. When I first of all, I'm not mad at Neil Young. I'm a huge Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. When I was 19, I was a security guard at a place called Great Woods in Mansfield, Massachusetts. It's an outdoor concert amphitheater, and Neil Young was playing there. And that was the last day I worked there. I quit during the Neil Young concert. The job was kind of crazy because there was a lot of times fights broke out and stuff, and I think I probably got like $15 an hour, and I was not about to get beat up for $15 an hour. So I would bring a hoodie with me whenever I worked. So in case the shit hit the fan and it got too crazy, I would just put my hoodie on and leave and cover my security outfit, my security shirt. So one day during a Neil Young concert, there's the amphitheater, the way it's set up is there's a covered area outside that has seats, and then there's a lawn area behind it. And the lawn area during the Neil Young concert, they got a little rowdy. It was cold out, and they started bonfires. So they had these raging fires on the lawn, and we were supposed to go and put these fires out and stop them. So we tried for a little while, but then brawl started breaking out, and it started getting crazy. And I was like, fuck this. So I put my hoodie on, I zipped it up, and I left. And I drove home, and as I was driving home, I was singing, "Keep on rocking in the free world." That was my last day on the job. I don't even think I collected my last check. So no hard feelings towards Neil Young, and definitely no hard feelings towards Joni Mitchell. I love her too. I love her music. Chucky's in Love is a great song. I don't know what else I can do differently other than maybe try harder to get people with differing opinions on.
That would be a good start. That would be a good start. I think that would be excellent. But I really think he should put them on both at the same time. Like, that's going to be the best outcome, I think. It's going to be, you know, you're going to get the most out of it there if you have, and that's a kind of a thing that people have been doing on panels forever, is you have opposing views. If you have somebody who's got an opposing view from the mainstream of society, you bring them on, but you also bring on somebody who has the view that is scientifically been there's a scientific consensus behind. So, Factual Reflection says it's kind of sad that people need to be protected from making their own determinations. If you bring opposing views, it's not that okay. So the thing is a lot of the rhetoric that's come from the right and that's come from anti-vaxxers and things like that is almost cult-like. And there are a lot of people who have to work their asses off day to day and don't get a chance to have other things to do, and don't get a chance to follow politics or follow what's actually going on or to research these things themselves. So when they have somebody that, like Joe Rogan, that they trust, bring on somebody who says, oh, the vaccines might kill you, you know, even though it's only 0.00008%, and you're much more likely to die from COVID than you are from getting the vaccine, then that's a bit of a problem, because, you know, you're feeding information to people who are ignorant to those facts. So yeah, it does suck that's the case, but that's the world we live in right now. Yeah, and if you bring opposing views, it can create more debate than allowing fluid perspectives from both sides. I don't think so. Not if it's structured directly. Like if you kind of give both people like an opening and closing statement, and then you kind of give them 2 minutes to talk back and forth, like a formal debate. I'm not talking about like an online like shitstorm debate. I'm talking about like a formal panel style debate. I think this idea of bringing opposite views on, but at different times, so they both speak evenly, could be good. I think that you could do it better if you put them both on together. It sucks if in the end he is forced to change the way he wants to run his show. Okay, it may be his show, but again, it's a platform that's watched by millions of people who may not otherwise get factual information from other places because of the things that I just explained. And so therefore, he has a bit of a responsibility, just like anybody who does work on this sort of platform, myself included, to make sure that he is presenting things in a way that isn't going to be a detriment to society as a whole. All right? People, the world we live in with the internet, as ubiquitous as it is, and the shit that can get fed to people the way it is both a blessing and a curse, depending on how you use it. All right? So if he's using it to bring on people that have views which are not espoused by the mainstream of science, and it's views that could potentially put people in danger, yeah, there is a little bit of a problem with that. Maybe he should change his format a little bit.
Right afterwards, I do think that that's important, and do my best to make sure that I've researched these topics, the controversial ones in particular, and have all the pertinent facts at hand before I discuss them. Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial.
Okay, what if everyone just took responsibility for themselves? Good luck, brother. Good luck. It's that's not the world we live in. I wish it was. I take responsibility for myself. When I have a view on something, or if I hear something and I'm on the fence about it or something like that, I research it so I can get a full idea of what I'm dealing with, right? That's something you should do. But there's so much disinformation out there these days that sometimes you can research it and go down rabbit holes of false information. It's easy to do that too. Critical thinking is something that is very, very important. Very important. I say this almost every show. Critical thinking and empathy are the two most important things in navigating your way through the world that you have. All right, those two things, right? But unfortunately, not a lot of people either adhere to those two things, or they're so busy dealing with their own lives and their own, people are having to work, so many more hours for the same amount of pay power, actually, because inflation's going up, but wages are stagnant. People work 60, 70 hours a week. They're not going to have time to go into politics and things like that. And so I think that we could be a little bit more responsible with our rhetoric, especially when someone like Joe Rogan has an audience of, tens of millions of people.
I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations. I didn't plan it. I can't believe it's as successful as it is. It was never really an idea that I had. The podcast started off as just fucking around with my friends and having fun and talking. And then when it became popular, other people wanted to come on, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to talk to that person. Oh, he's interesting. Oh, she's got a cool book out. And then, boom, it's become what it is today, which is like some out of control juggernaut that I barely have control of. So my pledge to you is that I will do my best to try to balance out these more controversial viewpoints with other people's perspectives so we can maybe find a better point of view. I don't want to just show the contrary opinion to what the narrative is. I want to show all kinds of opinions so that we can all figure out what's going on, and not just about COVID, about everything, about health, about fitness, wellness, the state of the world itself. It's a strange responsibility to have this many viewers. And
at least he realizes it's a responsibility. That's a good step. to have this many viewers is what he was saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. He realizes, I think he's starting to realize how much of an impact his show actually has on the conversation that goes on in America.
Listeners, it's very strange, and it's nothing that I prepared for, and it's nothing that I ever anticipated. I am going to do my best in the future to balance things out. I'm going to do my best, but my point of doing this is always just to create interesting conversations and ones that I hope people enjoy. So if I pissed you off, I'm sorry. And if you enjoy the podcast, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to Spotify. Thank you all the supporters, and even thank you to the haters, because it's good to have some haters. It makes you reassess what you're doing and put things into perspective, and I think that's good too. All right.
So I think he did a fairly good job there. He addressed some things. I just hope that his actions speak as well as his words do in that situation, because it does seem like he's starting to understand a little bit like what the power he has is, so that's good. I think that he made some headway with me there, at least. One more thing, Factual Reflection says, I don't think working a lot has anything to do with people not informing themselves from reputable sources. In a world where you can feed any agenda you want, it's really just up to the viewer. And yeah, I don't think that's the case. I really don't. Because people do have busier lives these days. They do have, and you're right, they do have information and opposing information coming from all sides at them at all times. It's like craziness. So how do you know what's real and what's not? Using critical thinking is a very important thing. But just informing yourself, taking the time. Like I wake up in the morning now, and I do this even more now that I'm, making content and stuff. But I wake up every morning and I look at the news and I go through. And I honestly, if you look at my newsfeed, it's weird because you'll see Fox on one and then The Guardian like right underneath. And, I look at both sides of the news. And through my reasoning and my critical thinking, I'm able to discern what's factual and what's not by going over, several different news sources and picking out the truth of them. Now, this is something that I like to do. This is something that how I like to spend my free time. It's not the way that everybody else thinks, though, all the time. It's not necessarily everybody's MO to, they'd rather come home from work and spend time with their families or play a video game or watch, I like playing video games too, or watching their favorite show like I do too. It's just I make sure to dedicate a little bit of my time to doing that. Not everybody has that capacity either. Some people weren't given a lot of people weren't given the skills to critically think about subjects like this. So, yeah. So I think that we need to just, as people, are relying more and more on the internet, and people are having busier lives, and they're relying more and more on news sources to tell them what's going on. I just think it's a much bigger responsibility these days to get things right and to point out when things are wrong. And Factual Reflection says, good luck. It's not quite the task these days. Unfortunately, all media has a unilateral agenda, which sucks balls. Yeah, you got me there. I mean, I do see there's two factions of media these days. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of in between. I think like maybe NPR, there's some stuff on NPR and there's some stuff on like PBS and stuff like that that's very down the line factual, but I don't know. I see a reason for the other types of media too, because even though they have their own agenda, there needs to be opposing views to something if it's wrong. And so, I don't think the Democrats get it right half the time. I don't think Republicans ever get it right. That's just my opinion, though. Again, my values and my axioms are more in line with left-wing thinking than right-wing thinking. It doesn't necessarily mean that every right-wing person is a bad person or every right-wing person is a liar or anything like that. I just feel that a lot of us want the same things, but go about different ways of getting it. And I happen to believe that I am right in my ways of going about things and the tactics and the things that I use to make the world a better place. The things that I think would make the world a better place all come from that critical thinking and empathy. So yeah, I just think that Joe Rogan should be a little bit more responsible in his rhetoric. That's all. And I think that he should be a little bit more even in his coverage of things. And he sounds like he's doing that, so good for him. All right, guys. Let's see here. I got like a total of 8 minutes left, I believe. Let's see here. All right. So I think we're going to just end a little bit early, guys. I got some of the stuff out I wanted to get today. We're going to save the rest for tomorrow. It'll give me a little bit more time to go over some of the other stuff that I want to talk to you about. Like I said, my kids here today. It was not something that was expected, or else I would have probably streamed a little bit later. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for contributing your opinions, and please like the stream, subscribe, donate if you can. This takes a lot of my time, so it'd be cool to make some extra money on it. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.